Welcome to Soap Hub Says. I'm Amber Sinclair, the managing editor of soaphub.com.
I'm Alina Adams, a soap hub writer. I'm the one who comes up with all those theories on what could happen to make the story more interesting. And I'm the author of Go On Pretending, a novel about classic soaps. You can see the cover. It's right there behind me over my shoulder.
We'll be here every week talking about what we loved, what we hated, and what we have questions about for every show.
So last week, we may have mentioned that Y&R's Who Killed Damien mystery was the worst one ever featured on daytime. But we did admit we could be wrong, and we asked for your suggestions for which were worse. Stay tuned till the end of the podcast when we'll share some of the fan opinions we received. But first, what happened on The Young and the Restless most recently? So everyone is back in Genoa City, and everything is back to normal. Was anyone changed in any way by the events in France? I mean, I know Damien's dead, so he was changed, but has anything happened from a storytelling perspective? What was the point? I mean, we did see those lovely bushes, which were very nice, and all that.
Beautiful maze, the beautiful maze. Like, how can your life not be changed by walking through a random maze in France? I'm just saying that would change my life.
And yet we are right back where we started. Victor is once again foaming at the mouth about Claire and Kyle with everything else that's going on, with dead Cole, with dead Damien, with Kane in town. He is obsessing about Claire and Kyle, which particularly makes no sense because remember, Kyle used to be married to Summer and he wasn't thrilled. But he was like, chill. Now, I mean, I understand that Summer is Phyllis's daughter, so obviously he doesn't care about her. But he's like, he sounds completely deranged. I mean, okay, today, Monday, Claire did say, that's it, I'm not listening to you anymore. But remember all the time Nikki said that? And Victoria, and Nick, and Adam. So we know it won't stick. It never does. And this is the most important thing on this man's plate right now?
It's giving Brooke with hope.
Yeah. You almost have to start wondering, this is creepy.
Like, it's,
you know, like Summer, he watched grow up as a little girl. Claire, he met an adult, and it's picking up all sorts of creepy vibes, how obsessed he is with her.
It's giving unhinged.
And unhinged, and you know who else is unhinged, or I like to use the word deranged, is Phyllis. She has already made herself a partner in Kane's endeavors all by herself. This was all in her head. She has already made herself a partner, and she's going around offering Daniel a job in companies that Kane does not yet own, that Phyllis is not yet a partner with him in, but she's offering Daniel a job. Now, I gotta say, Daniel does a fabulous job of nodding his head and like, yes, mom. Yes, mom. But the poor boy just lost Heather. Does he really need a completely insane mother to manage at the same time? And we don't know how his insane teen daughter is doing. Does Daniel really need this? And at the same time, Phyllis, who's already in Kane's suite, because basically they're already partners. She's already vice president. She's already in charge. Billy is there too, and he thinks he's going to be Kane's man in Genoa City. Well, that is until he found out that Kane actually wanted Jabot. But before that, he was all in. And here's my issue. And tell me how you feel about this, Amber. I get secondhand embarrassment from Victor ranting and Phyllis ranting and Billy ranting. I mean, if it is, if I may, as the young people say, cringe.
Right.
And when a large part of the cast is cringe, it's hard to watch. Am I the only one? Am I the only one who actually winces when I watch the show?
No, not at all. Listen, Eric Brain's daddy, okay? That's father. That is my favorite actor of all time, okay? They need to give him better lines. He cannot be this obsessed over his granddaughter's bedroom habits, okay? What? Also, what is Phyllis? Is she trying to be like a manifestation queen? Does she have like a vision board?
I didn't think about that. She's manifesting. Very good. She's throwing it out into the universe.
Like, and if so, and this works, can I know your secret? Because I need it for lottery numbers. Right? Like, can you manifest me winning the lottery?
Except Lily hasn't won anything yet. She can manifest from here to eternity, but she hasn't won anything yet. So I don't know if you want to be using her secrets for your lottery.
No, right? And like, Billy gets more annoying every day. And Jason Thompson is such a strong actor that he needs more to do. He needs more to do than play sad, mopey Billy, who's trying to get revenge again, and he's gonna lose again.
He's got a wily
because of Billy.
Yeah.
Because Y&R can never let Billy have a win. And I'm actually all for Billy never getting a win because it used to make Billy a better person. Losing used to make Billy more interesting. Now it just makes him more whiny.
Yeah.
Like, oh, what was me? The whole world hates me. Everyone's against me. Nobody likes me.
I know he's very much embraced the victim culture. If anybody wants to be a poster child for the victim mentality, Billy is doing an excellent job.
Chef's kiss over there. Like, they have such strong actors. Use them.
We know what they have strong actors because they're selling this material.
Yes. Yeah. You know, we gotta hand it to Michael Mueller because I could not deliver those same lines over and over again. Knowing I'm gonna get the same result and still sticking with it.
Yeah, well, I feel the same way every time Peter Bergman is in a scene and Victor is just huffing and puffing at him and he doesn't break out laughing. Susan Walters, everyone who Victor pontificates at, kudos to them for not giggling. I don't know if I'd be able to not giggle.
No, I'd be on the floor.
So from very important topics like the self-deluded majority of Genoa City, we need to move to Beyond the Gates and the very important topic of cats' hats. It was my husband, who has been fascinated by cats' hats, who pointed out that Kat is no longer wearing her delightful hats. But fear not, soon after Kat gave up on hats, Ashley received that beret. And I guess that meant that she was going to Paris, where somebody I saw online say, I've never been to Paris before. Is Paris 2 chairs and a table? No, it's a maze. So if you had watched The Young and the Restless, you would know that Paris is actually a hedge maze. But anyway, I feel I must, at this time, quote the fine film, Mean Girls. Stop trying to make Ashley and Andre happen. It is not going to happen.
No, it is not.
It is not, and they're trying so hard, but no, I've decided this. That is all I have to say. As all of you who watch this know, I have many, many, many things to say about many, many topics. That is all I have to say. Stop trying to make Ashley and Andre happen.
Yes.
Yeah. So, meanwhile, let's move across town to Orphe Jeans, or I don't know, is Orphe Jeans across town? Where is it vis-a-vis the gates? Where is it vis-a-vis the hospital? I have no idea. Doesn't matter. We have Naomi bringing in June's sister, Regina. Yes. Where does Naomi get on her high horse judging Regina? She has no idea what happened between these two sisters. The kind of things that goes on in family, especially when one is an addict, you have no idea what she has done to her sister. And she's all there making judgments on Regina. She has no idea. And then when Regina talks about the 2 kids that June got rid of, not how the foster care system works. Fine, whatever. Days of Our Lives doesn't know how the foster care system works. Beyond the Gates doesn't need to know either. Whatever. We're supposed to assume those 2 kids are Tyrell and Samantha, right? Because the age is right. And Regina said one should be looking at colleges soon, and Tyrell is a high school senior. So yes, she referred to the kids as Ron and Cecile. But although we did learn on The Young and the Restless last week that only criminals change their names, we learned this from Victor Newman, who changed his name, said by an actor, Eric Braeden, who changed his name. But that's not a big thing. I'm just curious what the story is here. They're 17 and 16 years old. There's no custody battle coming. I mean, who fights for kids that old? Plus, their mother is unhoused and not mentally well. So what is the story? It's kind of like we talked about Young and the Restless. They all went to France. They all saw the maze. What is the story? No story really came out of it. Yes. And that's a big question for Beyond the Gates, too. If June is Tyrell and Samantha's biological mother, what's the story? It's a premise, but what's the story?
Yes. Right. I was like, where are we going with this? Like, is it going to turn out that this comes out, it's a big reveal, and then these kids hate their mom or get close? Like, what's the point?
But even if we do, we don't know them well enough to care.
Yeah,
We don't,
exactly.
what do they once every 2 or 3 weeks? We don't know Tyrell and Samantha well enough to care about them finding their bio mom. Honestly, I liked Regina better. She at least had some passion and was talking about everything she'd been through. So I don't see what the story is, but at least we have sort of a new premise as opposed to The Bold and the Beautiful, where new.
So many things to say. Okay. So Grace is getting caught this week and confessing. There's no slow burn here. Like, Bold and Beautiful, for the first time, probably in Bold and Beautiful history, is not slow burning a storyline.
And Bold and the Beautiful, that's what they do.
We heard you can't tell Hope that baby Beth is alive every day for at least 8 months. Okay. Thomas was making out with that mannequin for like weeks upon weeks. Okay. Like, that was my favorite storyline, by the way, of any soap opera. Thomas and the mannequin. I hands down bring back Thomas and the mannequin. I will ship Thomas and the mannequin until the day that I die.
We shall call them Tamakin.
Tamakin. I like that.
We should call him Tomakin.
Tomakin. Yes. But like, great. Is there something else that we're missing with the storyline? Also, I was thinking, so was Grace involved with making Liam think he was sick?
Right. That's the big question.
Was he
actually sick? You know, it's all sorts of details. Yeah.
Right. Because Liam found out about all of this because of his fainting episodes. I need to know how the fainting episodes happened. Did she make that happen? Or did Liam just come in because of it? And Grace is like, ooh, opportunity strikes, right? Opportunity knocks, gotta open that door. And if she wasn't involved in like making him have the fainting spells, what the heck is going on with Liam? And do we still have a chance of losing him? Yeah. Just saying. I mean, I wouldn't be upset.
I know.
Scott Clifton back in Port Charles instead.
You always assume that if Liam leaves Bold and Beautiful, he'll end up at General Hospital. It's not.
I'm manifesting it. I am Phyllis.
You and Phyllis.
Hey, also we got to skip over to Italy and talk
which is close to France, but at least was outside in real Italy.
Right. I can't with Brooke and Ridge. Brooke is too good for Ridge. Taylor is too good for Ridge. All the women are too good for Ridge.
All the men are too good for Ridge. Basically, all of humanity is too good for Ridge.
I don't know if I want Brooke with Nick. I just know that I don't want her with Ridge. I don't know if I want Taylor with Nick. I just know I don't want Taylor with Ridge. Ridge needs to be alone. Ridge just needs to be alone.
He needs to work on
Brooke. Maybe not Nick, but if Eric loves Brooke so much that he is fighting this hard, maybe he should be the one to go get her.
Yeah. Well, as I said last week, I liked Eric and Brooke when they initially got together. It's just gotten drawn out. Oh, here's a shocker on Bold and Beautiful. It just got drawn out too long. But I do like them. And if let's put this way,
good together.
I cared about Brooke's happiness, which I do. If I cared about Brooke's happiness, I would say Eric, because he's an adult. But on the other hand, you know, she probably doesn't want to hurt her sister. There is that.
Well, I mean, this wouldn't be the first time she slept with this person.
Well, maybe she's learned something. But let's hope she's grown. I mean, she's a grandmother by now. For God's sake, she's not the 25-year-old chemist we met. She's a grandmother.
I'd almost rather see Brooke back with Bill. Despite it hurting Katie, because at least Katie's done with Bill, she says, this year. But like, I'm so bored of the constant Ridge Brooke triangles. Pick a lane and leave it there for a while. Just pick one lane, leave it there. Let them do whatever. If they're going to be boring, let them be boring. If they're going to have lots of action, let them have lots of action. But just give me stability for 10 minutes. 10 minutes. I don't even care if they're all single. Okay. I don't care if they're all single and miserable, but at least they'll all be single and miserable. Okay. Because
All right, so lest we get too negative, I have positive things to say about this in our lives. So first of all, I loved the first day of Johnny's trial because we were just clipping along. You know, we didn't have like a whole episode of a witness being questioned, then walking to the seat, then walking back to the seat. No, we were just clipping along. I really liked how they did that. Loved how they cut from witness to witness. We didn't have to deal with the boring stuff. I also have to say, the Sammy just came back today, Monday, and I loved her scenes talking to Johnny about John, and then her talking to John's photos and the flashbacks. I mean, she was such a baby in some of those flashbacks. And here's the thing. I have always had this theory about Sammy. So here is my Sammy theory by Alina and Amber. So despite however much Sammy wants to spin the numbers, Sammy was raised by John.
Yes.
Marlena was dead. Roman was dead. Sammy was raised by John. Then when they found out John is John and Roman comes back from the dead, she's like, my dad, I hate John. I love my dad. My theory was always it's because deep down she thought of John as her dad and she loved John. So she was so guilty that she had to turn it into hatred for John and loyalty to Roman to the point where, you know, she kidnapped baby Belle. Okay, it was traumatic to see your mom having sex on a boardroom table with the guy who you think of as your dad. That was a bit of a trauma for her. But I think all of Sammy's intense love for Roman as her dad versus her hatred for John was really just because she knew she loved John and John was her dad. So it was really nice. I hope this is it because they would always have Sammy and John reconcile and then they'd have her get mad at him again. Now that tragically we've lost Drake Hodgson, I don't think that storyline's going to come back. So I think today we got a resolution to Sammy and John, and Sammy admitted how much she loved John. And I just think those scenes were absolutely lovely.
I love Sammy. I love Sammy. I love Sammy to the depths of my soul. I love Sammy. Sammy is Allison Sweeney plays one of the best bad girls on daytime television history, and we need her more. I mean, especially with all this stuff going on with Johnny right now, we could definitely use her more.
And it makes perfect sense to have her be in town. She couldn't make John's funeral. I'm sure that was a scheduling thing with Allie or whatever. Yeah. But to have her here and to have that closure.
That was perfect.
Really, really nice. Also, what was really nice, the scenes between Sophia and Amy, because so much Amy has been written as this, you know, slave driver mother, and she's telling her daughter what to do, and she actually listened to her. She actually sympathized with her daughter. Those scenes were very sweet, and the scenes with Sarah and Sophia, because you know, Salem Hospital has a lot of trouble with HIPAA and you know also security and elevators. But the thing is, Sarah was absolutely right. When Sophia said to her, oh, well, you can't say anything, but you know that I had a boy and that, you know, I had the baby earlier than I said I did. And having Sarah say, yes, it's confidential, but up to a point, because the fact is HIPAA doesn't preclude if she thinks that Sophia will hurt herself or will hurt somebody else. And those scenes were really good. And this story has had its ups and its downs, but last week, Sophia and Amy and Sophia and Sarah were excellent. I'm so glad they played both those beats because the temptation would have been to rush over them and just play Sophia and Tate or, you know, Sophia and Holly or whatever. And it was just so nice. Those were so well done. So kudos to the writers on that.
They were perfect. Those scenes were perfection.
Yeah.
Not as perfect as Kat and Chad stuck in an elevator.
Yeah, I have a couple of questions about the elevator. First and foremost, why are they acting like you can't use a cell phone in an elevator? I mean, it's a little dodgy. We all know that. But why are they acting like it's a Faraday cage? Why are they acting like if you can't call, try texting, you know, stand around, move it around. Maybe you'll get even one bar, half a bar. And also, they just sat down. They didn't bang on the door. Now, I know the building I live in, I can hear a door banging 3 floors below me. I can hear the conversations of people in elevators below me. Now, maybe I just live in not that great of a building. But the fact is, yes, Chad said, I'm going to climb up through the thing. And Kat said, no, don't do that. But why didn't they like bang on the doors, stomp their feet on the floors? I know I can hear when people in my building's elevator are doing that. And also, is the hospital deserted at night? Is the hospital one of those places that people don't work at night? Is that something that I've missed?
I did get an email from a fan, and C Dunn emailed me and was like, Marlena can hear Chad and Kat in the elevator now, but like nobody could hear their screams before.
Yeah.
And I was
It's
like,
just, and then suddenly they could hear them so clearly. So you think other people might have been able to hear them faintly.
right? I was like, yes.
So that wasn't, Days, you hit it out of the park last week twice. This was not a third time. And finally, this brings us to General Hospital. So we have to rewind and go back.
You have a lot to say this week.
I have a lot to say. So Robert Scorpio showed up in Port Charles in December of 1980. I was 11 years old. I was feeling it, if I may. At 11 years old, I didn't know what I was feeling, but I was feeling it. He had the whole James Bond thing going on. We believed he was a secret agent. He had this partner named O'Reilly. She was super cool. Then through the years, we saw Connie, we saw Anna, we saw Sean. We believed they were seasoned spies. We put up with a lot of stuff, giggled, we made fun, but we believed these were spies. Frisco, okay, it was a little bit trickier, but he wasn't on the air that much, so we didn't have to think too hard about why the rocker guy who became a cop is now at the WSB. But now, Joss, Vaughn, Emma, is this WSB 90210? I mean,
I'm still not buying Joss as an agent. I'm trying really hard. Like, as a side note, like, I'm trying really hard.
I mean, are we supposed to take these children seriously? So I did some research before I started this rant. I looked it up. Finola Hughes was all of 25 years old when she began playing Emma. Eden McCoy, who plays Joss, is 22. So that's not that much younger. But Anna came off as a grown-up, and not just because I was a kid at the time, but Anna came off as a grown-up. And Joss, she feels like a child.
She still feels like a teen.
Yeah. Now, obviously, the writing is a big part of it. Anna came out as Robert's ex-wife, so by definition, she was a grown-up. And we did see Joss born on the show. We saw Joss grow up on the show. But this feels like Junior Spies of America. And just having Joss in charge is not making me feel very secure about the state of the world. I want to buy into this storyline, and I like Emma as a concept, but this whole Joss, Vaughn, Emma, spies, junior spies, training spies, maybe spies, not really spies. I don't feel it. I don't get it. I want Anna and Robert back.
Yes.
So, but the reason that I'm going on and on about the past is because this week I could not think of something to say about the present.
No.
And when I spoke to you, you also could not think of something to say about the present. So what's going on? Why do we feel this way?
We had weeks of some of the best material GH has given us in years. With the Willow and Drew wedding, the Willow and Drew wedding falling apart. And I mean, even like with the custody battle and Willow losing her kid and Willow terrorizing Sasha and Sasha leaving town and Britt returning and Jason like realizing Britt didn't die. Like we've had, and then all of a sudden it was like a slow week. Like normal.
I wanted to make sure it wasn't me. Maybe I was missing something, but I just couldn't think of it. Except, and the spy story is more of a broader story. It's not necessarily something that happened this week. It's just conceptual. So
no, it just felt like I feel like maybe the writers needed a break from like high impact drama, and they're like, can we just like be normal for a hot minute?
Put some kids by the pool and let them spy around the pool. Surely there's much spying to be done around a pool. Right. So General Hospital has a share of not great murder mysteries over the years. Did we ever find out who killed Austin? No? Do we care? No? Okay, moving on. We did ask fans what they thought were some really, really bad soap opera mysteries through the years. And I'm going to read you some stuff now because you'll get to hear what someone other than Amber and I have to say. So we heard from Donna, who said, there is no doubt about this. Another World, The Red Swan. The Red Swan was meant to be a sculpture. Rachel was a sculptor. Mac was away on a business trip, sent it to her, but he died and it had no note or any accompanying documents, so there was no explanation for why Mac had seen it and bought it for her. Now, side note, if somebody just sends me something, I don't assume there's a mystery attached. Look, my husband sent me a doohickey. I shall put it in the living room and move on. I'm not really sure why it has to be a mystery. Since it had no context, it was a real mystery, Donna says. Rachel searched. Eventually, it was learned that it had a secret compartment. In it was the proof that Paulina was Mac's daughter. Okay, so if my husband ever sends me a gift, I'll start looking for, confessions of infidelity. This cemented Paulina as a legitimate part of the family, but went on and on with them talking about it every single day. Some people say it is a MacGuffin. I compare it to the Libidozone AMC. Does anyone remember Libidozone? That's where David Hayward spiked, I think they were at a party, and he spiked the punch with a drug that made everyone really horny. And so you missed that, Amber? It was quite a bit. So that also went on for quite a while. Or the reliquary story on Young and the Restless. Oh, look, I made Amber fall out of frame.
That's hilarious.
Most soaps have one of these. I don't really fault the writers. They had to throw out a whole big story when Mac died. Yes, the actor who played Mac, Doug Watson, did die very unexpectedly. It was around the show's anniversary. So they had to actually write. Basically, they were celebrating the show's anniversary while celebrating the company that he had founded. The fact that the actor tragically died unexpectedly made things really hard for the writers. But I still don't know why the Red Swan is what had to come up. Meanwhile, Robert agrees the reliquary business on Y&R from a few years back went on forever, became incomprehensible, and they have no idea if or how it was ever resolved. Lance says, who killed Carolyn Crawford on As the World Turned? It dragged on seemingly forever and was so convoluted it made no sense. Mike agrees, who killed Carolyn Crawford on As the World Turns? Great actors, but Douglas Marland could have shortened it by a year and a half. The reveal was silly. And I think that's something we heard over and over again. It went on too long. It dragged on too long. And we've sort of been talking about it almost with all the stories. Let's go back to Young and the Restless and Dumas. It just went on so long.
Baby Beth is alive.
Baby Beth is alive. Exactly. So what we're hearing from people is the mysteries, besides their underlying lameness, the biggest problem was it just went on and on and on. Meanwhile, Robert said on The Edge of Night, the actress playing Nicole decided to leave without a lot of notice. This happened at the same time as a change in head writer. Ironically, the actress playing Nicole later said she might have stayed on if she knew they were changing writers. She wasn't happy the way her character was being written. The new writer didn't have a lot of time to set up a true whodunit, so they used her shocking death. She was a TV reporter and died on air when someone poisoned her makeup as a plot point to set up a major storyline involving subliminal TV messages. Yes, this was kind of early in the days when people were wondering, videos had just come out and cable television, and people were wondering, what is this doing to our brains? Not unlike, I don't know, now with social media. The person who killed her was a minor character that barely had any scenes before she was killed. It was more why she was killed and not who killed her. Ticked off a lot of Edge fans at the time. Kathy says the accursed Rosario diamonds on Sunset Beach. Marilyn says, okay, Marilyn has a lot of thoughts. Let's read what Marilyn had to say. Days of Our Lives, the elephant statue storyline. Man, did they drag that storyline out. By the time viewers found out that Serena Mason had put blood diamonds inside it, I don't think many cared anymore. But for better or for worse, it introduced Sandra Cook to the show. Okay, again, what is it when you receive statues? You're supposed to think there's some hidden subliminal message in it. When somebody hands me a gift that's like a statue, I just go, thank you. And hopefully it's not ugly. And I put it somewhere where when they visit, they can see it. I didn't realize I was supposed to be figuring out the deep, dark message of why they had sent me a statue. Also, Days of Our Lives, the gloved hand storyline in the mid-2000s.
Oh my God, that was the worst.
It had potential to lead into interesting storylines, but I believe there was a writing change and the fallout plot points were dropped. Patrick Lawhart, a character with wasted potential, was sent off to jail, rarely mentioned again. You have thoughts? You agree with Marilyn?
God. Okay, so mid-20s, I was in my 20s, right? I used to work at like a restaurant, and my break time was right when Days of Our Lives was on. And all the girls would watch Days of Our Lives, and I almost quit my damn job. Okay. I'm not going that break room I cannot anymore. Like, it was so bad. Like, it was so bad.
Marilyn agrees. Marilyn also thinks GH, the Hook killings, the writers clearly had no clue who the killer was, so they went with a safe but ridiculous choice. No way a 70-something woman would be able to overcome a fit ex-Marine like Brando. Plus, Heather was a righty when the killer was originally left-handed. Good noticing, Marilyn. Good job. But on the other hand, hey, Britt's not dead. Remember whatever happened to the poison hook that killed Britt? We're not even talking about our Huntington's disease. She's apparently doing very well. So there's that. And finally, Santa Barbara, the Brotherhood, 4 orphan storylines. The show wasted the talents of 4 actors whose characters decided to avenge the death of a character viewers never knew about. Then the said victim, Cassandra, turns up alive. No offense to the actress, Karen Moncrief, who gave a solid performance. But Cassandra was so annoying and did so much damage to established characters, especially the Lockridges, that I kind of wish she stayed dead in the cave-in. Okay, 2 things about that storyline. 1, it gave the world, I kid you not, 12-year-old Leonardo DiCaprio. Because when they did flashbacks to Mason, who I believe at the time was being played by Terry Lester, who is blonde, they did flashbacks to Mason. He was played by 12-year-old, I don't know why I can't say that, 12-year-old Leonardo DiCaprio. You can find it on YouTube if you go looking. He plays a drunk 12-year-old in a cave. So it gave it that. And it was also the first time where I actually noticed John Callahan, because I had seen him on General Hospital playing Leo, and he did nothing for me. He was Leo the masseuse. I don't even think Leo had a last name. Okay, he probably did, but he was Leo masseuse. He did nothing for me. I saw him on Santa Barbara. He was so much better, except he went to tears every single time. The first few times, it was affecting, but then you realize if you ask him something like, with the toddler, there's some really sensitive toddlers that whatever you ask them, they burst into tears. That was kind of John Callahan. He went to tears every time, which is kind of what Michael Mealor does on Young and the Restless, when every time somebody challenges, his chin starts to quiver and his eyes well up. But I did really like John Callahan in that storyline on Santa Barbara, and it set him up very well to play Edmund on All My Children. I think by the time he started playing Edmund on All My Children, he had sort of learned a lot from his time on Santa Barbara. So I agree, Marilyn, the storyline itself, not great, but 12-year-old Leonardo DiCaprio and John Callahan learning how to act. So those were good things. That's it for now. I'm Alina Adams. My novel about the early days of soaps is called Go On Pretending. See, it's right there behind me. And you can find it wherever books are sold.
And I'm Amber Sinclair, the managing editor of Soap Hub. You can find me here every week or on TikTok under the username Destroy the Canvas, where I showcase my silly little art. Make sure you join us next week when we'll have even more to say about all of our favorite soaps, past and present. In the meantime, subscribe to our YouTube channel, visit soaphub.com, where we have recaps, we have interviews, and we have spoilers. See you all soon.